Greetings to you all. I am Dr. Anveshni Dumala, working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology in Vignans Nirula Institute of Technology and Science for Women. Today we are going to discuss a few things regarding GSM architecture. In the last session we have seen the introductory part of mobile computing. Also we have seen what are the components in mobile computing, what are different characteristics of mobile devices. Also we have seen what are the applications of mobile computing, what are the limitations of mobile computing. Also we have seen a few functionalities of the layers in the simple reference model, right? So in this session we are going to see and learn a few things about the GSM architecture. So in this we are going to cover the introductory part of the GSM, that is Global System for Mobile Communication. Later we are going to see GSM services. Also we are going to see the architecture of GSM, the security in GSM, characteristics of GSM standard, advantages of GSM. Also we are going to see what is the future of the GSM. So what is GSM? Can anyone tell me what is meant by GSM? Right. Global System for Mobile Communication is a second generation cellular standard developed to cater voice services and also the data delivery services using digital modulation, right? So coming to the history, it is developed by Group Speciale Mobile. It is founded in 1982, which was an initiative of CEPT, that is Conference of European Post and Telecommunication. So under ETSI, GSM is named as Global System for Mobile Communication in 1989. So full set of specification phase 1 has become available in 1990. Phase 2 of the GSM specifications occur in 1995. So coverage is extended to all the rural areas. Next one, GSM services. In GSM, we have three types of services. One is tele services, second one is bearer services, third one is supplementary services. So first one is tele services. So we'll see one by one. The first one is tele services. Telecommunication services that enable voice communication via mobile phone. It offers the services like mobile telephony. Next one is emergency calling. Second type of services is bearer services. It includes various data services for information transfer between GSM and other networks like PSTN, ISDN, etc. So the data rates are from 300 to 9600 bits per second. So we all know the SMS, right? Short message services. So it supports up to 160 character alphanumeric data transmission to or from the mobile terminal. Also it supports voice mailbox. Third type of service is supplementary services. So these services are related to call. So during whenever we make a call, we come across these type of services like call waiting, call hold, call bearing, call forwarding, multi-party call conferencing, etc. Right? So we'll see what is meant by call waiting. So notification of an incoming call while on the handset. Next one is call hold. So put a caller on hold to take another call. So call bearing is all calls, outgoing calls or incoming calls. Next one is call forwarding. Calls can be sent to various numbers defined by the user. So last one is multi-party call conferencing. This is what? So it will link multiple calls together. Next one is GSM architecture. So this is very simple architecture. Also it is very important question in your syllabus. So please concentrate on this GSM system architecture. So in this we can observe there are multiple modules in it, right? So first of all we'll see the full forms of the modules, and then later we'll see what each module mean. Okay. So first one is SIM. There you are able to see SIM, subscriber identity module. Next one is ME, mobile equipment. Next one is BTS, that is base transceiver station. Transceiver means the system or the station or the device which has the capability of transmitting and also the receiving. So whichever the device has the property of both, like transmitting and receiving, it is called as transceiver. So BTS means base transceiver station. Next one is BSC, base station controller. Next one is HLR, home location register. Next one is VLR, visitor location register. MSC, that is mobile services switching center. Next one is EIR, equipment identity register. Next one is AUC, that is authentication center. So whenever we are making a call from one mobile to the other mobile, or from one station to the other station, what happens? So first of all, the user details have to be validated, right? So authenticity has to be checked, then the call should be connected. Then the actual data transmission or the conversation take place, right? So these are the modules that are involved in GSM. See one by one. So which module covers which module? So this is the GSM system architecture. So first one is mobile station, that is represented as MS. So mobile system can be mobile equipment ME, or subscriber identity module, that is SIM, right? Without SIM we cannot make a call to any other device. So next one is base station subsystem, that is represented as BSS. It has two other modules like base transceiver station, that is BTS, and the next one is base station controller, that is BSC. So the next one is network switching subsystem, that is represented as NSS. That is, it has mobile switching center, that is MSC, home location register. So in order to store the user details from one network, so whenever, see, if you are moving from one place to the other place, or from for example, you are from one state and you are moving to the other state, and still you want to make a call to any other person, right? So your details are specially stored in one register, that is home register. So from whichever the location you are moving, so that is called as home network. So from home network you are moving to the other station. For example, you belong to the AP. Okay, from AP you are moving from AP to the Telangana. Still from Telangana you want to make a call to a friend who is present in AP. So then what happens? Your home network is AP and the visitor network is Telangana. So then what happens? So your details are stored in the home network. So whenever you are roaming from one state to the other state, your details from the home network have to be transmitted to the visitor location. Still you need to be able to make a call, right? So that is why we are maintaining some registers. So we have multiple types of registers like home location register, that is HLR. Next one is visitor location register, that is VLR. Next one is authentication center, AUC. Next one is EIR, equipment identity register, right? So let's see one by one in detail. So first one is mobile station. So mobile station is made up of two entities. The first one is mobile equipment, that is represented as ME. Next one is subscriber identity module, that is SIM. So to make a call you should have the mobile equipment and also the SIM inserted in it. So altogether these two entities altogether we are calling mobile station, right? Next one is mobile equipment. So it is portable, it is vehicle mounted, and also it is handheld devices. Handheld device means it is wireless and you can carry anywhere you go, right? Next one is, it is uniquely identified by an IMEI, that is International Mobile Equipment Identity. Also it does voice and data transmission. It monitors power and signal quality of surrounding cells for optimum handover. So here handover means you are handovering the signal from one tower to the other tower. For example, so at your home you have a tower, right? So in that surrounding area all the mobile phones are covered, means the tower will provide the signals to the devices in that surrounding area. If you are moving from that location to the other location, then what happens? The other location, the tower which is present in the other location has to take the signal, means it should provide the signal. It will take the responsibility to provide the signal to your device when you are moving from one location to the other location. Means the tower that is present in present location will hand over your device to the tower which is present in the other location, that is whichever the place you are moving, right? So monitoring power and signal quality of surrounding cells for optimum handover. So the power level for it is 0.8 watts to 20 watts. Also the SMS that it supports is 160 character long. Next one is subscriber identity module. So it is the smart card contains the international mobile subscribers identity, that is IMSI. Next one, it allows users to send and receive calls and receive other subscribed services also. Next one is it is protected by the password or the PIN number. It can be moved from phone to phone. It contains key information to activate the phone. So since we are all talking about the mobile phone, the primary property it has is the property of moving from one place to the other place, right? So next one is system architecture. In that system architecture, we are going to see base station subsystem, that is BSS. So base station subsystem is composed of two parts that communicate across the standardized ABIS interface, allowing operation between components made by different suppliers, right? So we have multiple modules. First of all, we have a mobile station, also we have MSC, and then we have the registers, right? So what are we doing here? So in each level we have the interfaces through which these modules will communicate with each other. Okay, so one such interface is ABIS. So it has a base transceiver station, that is BTS, and the next one is BSC, that is base station controller. Base transceiver station, it will encode, it will encrypt, it will multiplex, it will modulate, also it will feed the radio frequency signals to the antenna. It communicates with mobile station and BSC. It also consists of transceiver units. Base station controller, that is BSC, it manages radio resources for BTS. It assigns frequency and time slots for all the mobile stations in its area. It handles the call setup. It handovers for each mobile station. It communicates with MSC and BTS. Next one is network switching subsystem. It is the next interface. The system contains the following functional units. The first one is mobile switching center. Next one is home location register. Next one is visitor location register. Next one is authentication center, and the next one is equipment identity register. So we will see one by one. So mobile switching center, that is MSC, that is the heart of the network. It manages communication between GSM and other networks. So billing information, it collects the billing information. Also it does the mobility management. It involves the registration process, the location updating. Also it provides the communication like inter BSS and inter MSC call handoff. Next one is home location register. So it stores the information about each subscriber that belongs to its MSC in permanent and temporary fashion. See, temporary means in your home location your details will be temporarily stored. Whenever you are moving from your home network to the visitor network, so in that visitor network your details are stored temporarily, right? So that is the difference between permanent and temporary fashion. As soon as mobile subscriber leaves its current local area, the information in the HLR is updated. So database contains IMSI, ISDN, prepaid, postpaid or roaming restrictions, and the supplementary services. Next one we are going to see VLR, that is visitor location registers. So temporarily database which updates whenever new mobile station enters its area by HLR database. It assigns a TMSI to each mobile station entering the visitor location register area, which keeps on changing. So it controls those mobiles roaming in its area. So database contains IMSI, location area, authentication key. Next one is authentication center. So you are changing from one state to the other state, means you are moving from one location to the other location, right? So your home your details in your home network are given to the visitor network. So there your details are first authenticated, then only you will be able to make a call to any other device or mobile station. So it contains the algorithm for authentication as well as the keys for encryption. It protects your network operators from the fraud, and it is situated in a special protected part of the home location register. Next one is EIR, that is Equipment Identity Register. It stores all the devices identifications registered for this network. So database that is used to track handsets using the IMEI, that is International Mobile Equipment Identity. So this is the IMEI is the number through which we can identify your device uniquely wherever the device is present. Next one is it prevents the calls from stolen or unauthorized or defective mobile devices. See, once if by unfortunately if your mobile is missing somewhere, so you can block this IMEI number. So nobody can call to your mobile phone once this identity number is blocked. That is how we can protect your system from the fraudulent calls or some unauthorized calls, etc. Next one is OMC, that is Operation and Maintenance Center. The centralized operation of the various units in the system, and it functions according to the needs to maintain the subsystems. Next one, it can monitor dynamically and also it can control the network. So the functions of this operation and maintenance center are configuration management, fault report and alarm handling. Next one, performance supervision, also performance management. Next one, storage of system software and the data. Next one, we'll see the security in GSM. So it is on-air interface, right? So GSM uses encryption and for the purpose of protection. So SIM is provided with the 4 to 8 digit PIN to validate the ownership of the SIM. Also it uses 3 algorithms which can be like, it can be A3 algorithm for authentication, A5 algorithm for encryption, or A8 algorithm for key generation. So now we will see the characteristics of GSM standard. So it is fully digital system using 900 or 1800 megahertz frequency band. So it is user authentication for fraud control. It has full international roaming capability. It has low speed data services up to 9.6 kbps. It is compatible with ISDN. Also it supports SMS, that is short message service. So we have seen what is the architecture and different modules in GSM architecture, and also we have seen what is the importance of each module in the architecture, right? So now let us see the advantages of GSM over analog system. So it reduces radio frequency transmission protocol, and it has longer battery life. It supports international roaming. It provides better security against fraud through terminal validation and user authentication. It also provides encryption capability for information security and the privacy. So we have seen many things like many things regarding the GSM, right? Now let's see what are the applications. So it is mobile telephony. Yes, now let us see GSM applications. The first one is mobile telephony. Next one is telemetry system. So telemetry system means it does fleet management, automatic meter reading, toll collection, etc. It also control remote and fault reporting of DG sets. Also it supports value added services. So what is the future of GSM? So in second generation GSM supports 9.6 kbps data rate. In 2.5 generation, that is future of GSM, it has a high speed circuit switched data supporting data rate of 76.8 kbps. And the next one is the GPRS, that is a General Packet Radio Service. It supports 14.4 to 115 kbps. Next one is EDGE, that is Enhanced Data Rate for GSM Evolution. It supports 547 kbps to the maximum. And the third generation is WCDMA, that is Wideband CDMA. It supports the data rate from 0.348 megabits per second to 2.2 mbps, right? So we have come to an end. In this session, in today's session, we have seen what are various services that are provided by GSM, what is the architecture of GSM. Also, we have seen different modules that are present in GSM, what are the advantages of GSM, what are the applications of GSM, what are the characteristics of GSM, right? So also we have seen what is the future of GSM. Also we have seen what is the security in GSM. So that's all for today. In the next class, we will be seeing GPRS, that is General Packet Radio Service. Thank you for listening to the class.